Welcome back to Meredith with a Y. If you're new here, a very happy welcome to you to this podcast. My name is Meredith Willits, and today I'm going to be talking about my vacation that is coming up and a whole bunch of other things, so stay with me. Hello, everyone. This is Meredith with a Y, and I am your host, Meredith Willits. Today we are going to go deep, changing lives, and I am giving you the keys to the castle. So, Sunday. Yeah, my husband definitely pulled one over on me. It was my friend's son's birthday, and we were going to his birthday party. And when we walked up, there was this outside area at this bar restaurant, and everyone was wearing green and Irish garb, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't understand why I wasn't told to wear Irish garb and green. And my friend said, "Oh," and I bought presents for this kid, and I know it was his birthday. And she's like, "No, this is actually for you." And I was immediately irritated. I was immediately frustrated because it was literally like 2 weeks before my birthday. And then they're like, "Well, we were trying to throw you off. And so you said you didn't want to party. So this is your party, but it's small like you wanted." And I am totally and completely confused. I have no idea what's going on. Why in the world my husband would have my birthday party 2 weeks before my actual 50th birthday. Why everyone's wearing green. I'm literally cannot, my brain cannot catch up with the reality that's going on in front of me. Everything's I'm trying to make sense of, and it wasn't working. And so I'm just, ordered a drink, sat down. It's like these outside couches. And my husband's like, "Yeah, it's halfway to St. Patrick's Day." And he gave my kids, these White Sox Irish jerseys. And he put on this Irish Blackhawks jersey. And everyone is, I can't even begin to tell you how confused I was as to why. And then he hands me this t-shirt that says, doing things amazing since 1972. Like it would just seemed very weird and unnecessary to host my birthday party a full 2 weeks prior to the actual day. Not to mention the weird vibe of the quote halfway to St. Patrick's Day, which I've never celebrated in my whole life. So I didn't understand why to go that route. And so if you can even hear it in my voice, because I'm going back to that moment in time where I'm just so annoyed and frustrated and trying to be happy and trying to absorb it all. And so we're sitting there and I'm, talking to my friends, and all the kids are dressed so cute in St. Patrick's Day wear. And all of a sudden I hear this weird faint sound of bagpipes playing. And I'm just kind of like looking around, and everyone gets quiet. I mean, this is a huge outdoor patio, and everyone is sitting outside, first of all, looking at us because we're all wearing green except for me. And now everyone's really looking at us because the bagpipes are coming towards the bar from some direction. And so here comes this bagpipe player just belting it out, as only a bagpipe can do. And everyone starts whistling and cheering. And I am still kind of frozen, feeling like I might be figuring out what is going on. Like, maybe this is an Irish theme. Like, okay, if we are going to Ireland, who in this group is going? Is everyone going? Do I want everyone to go? Do I really want that sort of chaos? So as the bagpipe player continues, he's now standing behind me and is playing Happy Birthday. And so when he's finished, I stand up. I tell him thank you. I get a picture with him. And then my husband's handing my younger kids these 2 pieces of paper, and then they're coming around over where I'm standing. and they start reading off of this paper about how the four kids and my husband want to take me back to my Irish heritage, County Cork, where my family is from. And I am leaving in like 5 days to go to Ireland. What? So when you're listening to this, by the way, I am in Ireland, all things, going well. And so I was like, holy crap, I have to be prepared to go to Ireland in like 5 days. Holy shit, this is happening. I'm like, who's going? Jim said me. So I know it's just he and I and not all 13 people that are sitting at this dinner party. Needless to say, I ate like 2 pieces of shrimp while I was sitting there. I ate literally nothing because my nerves were just so anxious, and I could not eat. And he was just pounding the beers because he was nervous and excited and like freaking out, like that he had been planning this for 4 months. And so everything's handled. He's flying my 23-year-old up to watch the kids. And, it's done all through a travel agent. So the flights and all of our stays and all of our tours, we have a driver while we're there. Like, it is a trip of a lifetime to a place I have really never considered going, to be perfectly honest. I tend to be a very kind of gritty traveler in a sense. Like, I like to go to places that are really outside of my comfort zone, or that challenge me in some way. And because I am Irish, I don't know why. I know most people like the idea of going to where their family is from, but I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess I can go to Ireland, like, whatever. Like, it's so, I don't know, like a part of me, it just seems like being me and going to visit me. And so it doesn't seem like an adventure, so to speak. I don't really know how to describe that. But as I've been looking at the itinerary and, bought a couple items of clothing and a raincoat and all the things that I'm going to need while traveling to a country that it's between 40 degrees and 60 degrees every day, whereas yesterday here in Chicago it was 91 degrees. I'm trying to get my like cold weather wits about me. But I find it so interesting that it's never been on my radar. And so I've been doing a little digging as to why. And if you listen to my podcast, I've talked a lot about, white supremacy and white, quote unquote, white culture and other cultures. And I really haven't, I really have had, I don't know if the word is a hard time, but addressing or understanding the culture of white people outside of colonization, white supremacy. And so I think that this trip, and even talking about it right now, I can feel the discomfort of really stepping into the shoes of going and learning about this. And I don't know why I do know why it's a block, so I'll just talk about it. So the block is that I have done so much work to really understand Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, plight, life, struggles, racism, and all of this. And I really have done so much work to take myself out of the white community that I grew up in and really challenge myself and the things that I, quote, know to be true by way of education, religion, and my upbringing, that to align myself with my white heritage and my Irish background, I almost feel, how do I even say it? Like I'm going backwards, because, when you watch these videos on social media and you do the education for yourself, it's it's very much a theme that there's no such thing as white culture. There's Irish culture, Irish heritage, Scottish culture, Italian culture, heritage, etc. And so I've been so aware of not being necessarily proud of being white that I think that I've tried to push that part of who I am away a little bit because I don't want to lose sight of how far I've come in my life as far as education. And if you are a person of color and you are listening to this, or even if you are a white person, I hope that you understand, like, it's literally like I have checked out of my whiteness, even though you can't, and really tried so hard to do the work and align myself with this greater breadth of knowledge of people of color. And so I probably am having some sort of like crisis actually. Um, but I think it's really good. And it's funny because I was messaging with one of my Costa Rica friends, Valerie, about the trip. And she's like, I think this is going to be really special for you. And I know that it's true. I know because as I've thought about being on the land of Ireland, I know that it is a coming home. It is a coming together with you're allowed to have all of the knowledge. I mean, what we're watching, with the Queen of England dying, and I have so many friends that are really into the royal family and the Queen of England and what's going on, and they're watching the funeral, and I could give two shits because as I watch it, I'm like, watching all the different countries that she has colonized, every single one of them being a country of people of color, and all the atrocities over the last decades of her life, and all of the jewels and diamonds that have been stolen from India and Africa. And my head is just exploding knowing that their family is racist, and asking about Harry's children and how dark they're going to be. Like, I have so much frustration with holding this family and the monarchy at this high level when it just makes no sense to me. It's just gross. And the fact that the country, the people pay for their lifestyle just because they're born into it. Like, none of it makes sense to my brain. None of it makes sense. And growing up, it did make sense. So maybe that's a huge part of it. Like, am I falling back in line with those old ways of thinking? Or am I going to be coming into alignment with loving where I come from and my heritage, while at the same time having appreciation? Because it is very, very difficult to love your heritage when you have been a part of atrocities. It is. I'm super aware of what has happened in our country and around the world. And it's not like you want to hate your whiteness because that does nobody any good. But at the same time, to come into alignment with it feels just as bizarre when you've done so much work to expand yourself. So I think that's probably why I have never really found myself desiring to go to Ireland, because it almost feels like, I don't even know. I mean, it almost feels kind of like a slap in the face, so to speak. It almost feels like I am celebrating myself, my country, my heritage. And I know that, and the other part of it is, it's, on the internet, when you start talking about slavery, so many people want to talk about Irish slaves, and they were treated worse than, slaves from Africa. And, then you got to get into this whole that they were actually indentured servants. They were never considered 3/5 a person. They were never actually, there was no legal, they were never considered property. There's like the litany of things that were different between Irish indentured servants and the Black slave trade from Africa is so profoundly different. So I do have like a lot of animosity towards people that want to equate the two of them. And so I'm sure there's a piece of me that is fighting that as well. That's like, no, it's totally different. You don't understand. Don't bring up Irish, quote, slavery around the concept of African slavery and bringing African Americans, to the United States and using them for slaves for hundreds of years and still using systemic racism and redlining and Jim Crow laws, etc. And so I'm sure that all of this is going on inside of me. And I just find it fascinating that for whatever reason, my higher self is like, nope, time's of the essence. This is it's time to go back and figure this all out. So that's what I'm doing. And I leave in a couple of hours, even from recording this podcast. So that's where I'm at. Husband plans trip and completely blows his wife's mind, which I'm sure is another piece of why I am so completely blown away the evening, because I'm thinking, hey, if my husband plans a trip, we're probably going. I told him this. I'm like, I thought we were going to Hawaii. I've talked about going to Italy 100 times. So the fact that he chose Ireland, I can't wait to really, have time to talk to him about why he chose that. But God is good. The universe is good. Our higher selves know more than we do. So for whatever reason, I need this. We need this. And I'm so looking forward to spending some time with him, because our days are usually spent driving to sports for our two youngest kids, or him working or me working. We're very, very preoccupied all the time. So that's where I'm at. So he's got it all figured out, and we're traveling around the entire country, flying into Dublin. My daughter's, like I said, coming up to watch the kids, which I am just forever grateful for. We will be back here October 1st for my birthday to spend time with her. My son is not able to come visit that weekend because of his job. And I said, don't worry about it. I understand everyone has a life and I don't take offense. But yeah, we're going to be doing all the things. It's funny. I'm not a whiskey person. I'm not a Guinness person. I am a tequila girl and an IPA girl and a Corona girl. I mean, there's just so many things, but, I'm looking forward to spending time with my husband. I'm looking forward to time away from work. He actually went on my work calendar and blocked the whole week off all on his lonesome. I don't know how he figured it out, but well done, Jim. And just kind of taking some time for the two of us. I can't even really remember the last time we went on a trip together. It always seems like it's with the kids or family or whatever. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, he pulled one over on me. The other thing that I found so fascinating was that feeling of being surprised when I am literally in charge of everything that happens in this household. Everything, scheduling, paying bills, where we go, what we do, what we're eating, the food we eat in the house, the way we spend our money, everything is really on my shoulders. And so at the moment of recognizing of what was really happening on Sunday night, where the surprise was being shown to me, especially the surrealness of thinking I was at someone else's birthday party. And then it was actually from me, but it really was his birthday. Like literally it was his birthday. So it was even more confusing. I recognized how much in my head I live by planning, thinking, organizing, And so I'm always kind of have my tentacles, if you will, on everything in my life. So for someone to kind of pull the rug out from underneath me, but in a positive way, it was very, very surreal. It was very surreal to know, to not know what was going on in my life. Even looking back when I got my breast cancer diagnosis, that might have been kind of the same surreal energy that someone was bringing something into my life that I had no control over. I was not privy to. And it just came out of such left field. And so being present in the moment of trying to figure out through the time of when I walked into the restaurant to when I was being told I was leaving for Ireland, and trying in that 30 minutes to figure out what was going on. Even though I'm psychic, you don't really necessarily read yourself, or at least I don't. Um, it was weird. It was so weird. And I wonder if, like, because of the fact that I like buy stuff from my husband, but maybe that's because it's his norm, and because of the fact that like I make the dinner every night and everything just kind of happens for him, that he's so used to it, and nothing really happens for me without my involvement, that it was so completely bizarre. But I have to say, it was very surreal to have something, especially so huge, happen for me without my input, without my opinion, without my quote unquote approval. It was very, very strange. Now, that said, I did post on social media the videos of everything. So if you want to go check that out at Meredith-Willits, or maybe it's underscore, or Meredith with the Y, I have both of the videos up there for that, of me being surprised, and the bagpiper walking in, and all the goods, and my kids reading the letter, which is just so cute. They pronounced Dublin, and everyone laughed. And my husband said they had practiced and practiced and practiced saying Dublin, and they still got it wrong, which I'm so glad they did. It's just it was just a very surreal moment. So as I put this on social media, the amount of messages and comments from women just blown away by what Jim had done, from planning the trip for the last 4 months, down to making all of the decisions of, travel insurance and having a driver versus driving ourselves, and recognizing that he is not a good driver and it would not be a good idea, to, which excursions or tours to go on, to bringing in the bagpiper and flying in Skylar, like all of these things. The amount of comments from women blown away by his kindness and thoughtfulness. If you are a guy out there, you do not need to take your wife or girlfriend necessarily to Ireland, but it feels really special. It felt really special. And having my friends there, and they actually didn't know anything other than show up at 7 o'clock on Sunday and wear Irish garb. He didn't tell them because he didn't want them to spoil the surprise. But if you're a guy out there and you have the opportunity to surprise your significant other, or, the person that takes care of like a lot of the stuff in your house, and she usually is, or he or she is usually involved in, yeah, we should go to dinner here, or we should go on vacation there. Even if it's once in a while, remove that weight from their shoulders and just plan something. And it was funny because as soon as I started to figure, as soon as Jim told me and the kids told me where we were going, I instantly turned into control freak. I'm like, did you pick an aisle seat? Did you do this? Did you do? And my friend Shauna just elbowed me and she's like, you need to stop. You need to just let it be. It's going to be fine. And she was right. And it was very helpful that she's like, just go. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be in charge or in control. It's okay. Everything's planned and everything's handled. So, that's pretty cool. The crazy thing is that I will be returning home on October 1st, and my retreat is October 13th through the 16th in Pennsylvania. So I will literally be landing and just a few days later going to the retreat. If you have not signed up to go on a retreat with me, I am hosting a retreat in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, October 13th through the 16th, and you can get that information in the show notes, glow-retreat.com. And my friends coach, Letha J. and Valerie Inez. Letha is a manifestation expert, master, and Valerie Inez is an author also and does shadow work and self-limiting belief work. And I'm going to be talking about how to really step into self and let go of your past. We're going to be doing yoga workshops. We're going to be doing Q&A sessions, dinners, lunches, breakfasts, ecstatic dance, which is super cool. I'm going to be leading that. Qigong. We're going to be doing so much stuff in the beautiful hills of Pennsylvania. I'm personally flying into Scranton. If you are in the New Jersey area, the New York area, Pennsylvania area, it's a short drive to Honesdale. Please come hang out with us. There's 2 different room options. Really, it's $1,300 or $1,400. Depending on which room you choose. There's bathrooms, free Wi-Fi in the main buildings. It's just going to be a very, very special retreat that I'm really looking forward to it. We have a very small group, so it's going to be pretty intimate as it seems. But hopefully this will be the first of many retreats for the 3 of us together to be hosting. So go check that out. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. Again, I will be out of the country, so I might not get back to you till October 1st, but message on the Glow Retreat. Messaging, there's a chat box there that someone will get back to you. And I hope to see you guys October 13th. But if not, when you listen to the next episode, it will probably be me talking about my experience in Ireland. And how that all came together. So thank you so much for taking this walk down my crazy experience highway here. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Thanks for listening. If you would like to connect on a more personal level, head over to meredithwillits.com or on Instagram at Meredith with a Y for behind-the-scene footage and outtakes. Please subscribe and come back each week for more Meredith with a Y. Thanks again for listening. Cheers.